almost didn't do a 2015 year-end roundup, but before it just becomes contaminated with any new finds, uh, I thought I would show this. Well, at least a few things I found. I thought for a second, well, this was not as good a year as last year. And if you count the fact that I got a couple of gold rings last year, and probably almost 20 different silver rings. Now, it doesn't really compare on those levels, but it does compare on uniqueness of finds and uh, one bucket lister for me. As I've told you before, I live in the newer end of the Sun Belt. We're not talking about Florida, whose history precedes the country by maybe 100 years or more. We're talking about the newer Sun Belt. We're not talking about the coast, maybe to Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. But as you move in, those cities become younger. I'm in the city of Dallas. It extends back, but it does not break into the 1700s. So, I'm not going to be finding a lot of large scents around Dallas, more than likely. Uh, if I do find them, they would be in very, very select areas, since Dallas was a kernel of a city back then, a tiny thing that has become much, much larger. So, the historical finds are in a very small portion of central Dallas, basically. So unless I get an opportunity to detect there, and most of it would require permissions, then I'm probably not going to find a lot of older coins there. So this is what I've got, and the things I've enjoyed the most. One of my unique finds was this little pocket knife. It's a pocket knife. Yeah, that's really impressive. But this is a buried pocket knife, and when I dug it up, I expected it to be like all the other pocket knives. Let me see. This thing is not easy to open. I need to oil it up some. Like all the other pocket knives and corroded into one piece, but it wasn't. So I took a close look at this, and I checked it with my detector, and it was a non-conductive. It was a conductive but a non-iron target. When I found this, it was reading like in the nickel range or something like this. So I assume this is a brass. Now it could be stainless steel, but the majority of stainless steel has some level of magnetism. So I think this is a brass or some other unusual metal, and that was one of my pride and joy finds of earlier in the year. Put that to the side. Now, of course, my real pride and joy was I'm not sure if you'll be able to get a good look at this from there. Let's see if it will let me. If I can get it good enough. All right, it looked good there for a second. Hold on here. Let me back it up a little bit. Yeah, I think I got a pretty good look at it there. My little Barber quarter find. My 1903 Barber quarter. Now that was a really fun find in an area no way I expected for it to be there. And it was under like an inch or less of dirt. And this, I just happened to be around a creek, so I assume at some point in the last 100 plus years, somebody had gone around that creek and lost a quarter. And I beat that area over and over again. Still haven't found anything else beside this, but this was enough. So that was a nice little find. Now the rest of them, this was an early find, not really a detecting find, but it came as a result of detecting. And I'm trying to see this. Unfortunately, I don't have my glasses. But I think this is a 2000 silver quarter, in the 2000s. I can't get the exact date. I should have had my glasses on before I started this. But it's in the 2000s, and it is a silver quarter. It was one of those proof sets that the mint gives of silver. You can tell it's just I don't know if you can even see the glisten or shine in this from that angle. But so it was a rare. I bet you not half a dozen people on these particular detecting channels have seen. I know they heard of them. These are great coin guys. Have seen or dug up or stumbled across a silver quarter in the 2000s. It's just a proof set. Probably some kid wanted a piece of candy and decided to break into his dad's proof set. Some kid who probably got a severe spanking. Here, a war nickel. Now, the war nickel did not come metal detecting. I picked up a handful of nickels, and because of metal detecting, I discovered this is not the way a nickel should look of this age, and it's a 19, I believe it's a 1942, 43, can't recall, but it is a war nickel, so it's another piece of silver. All right, and over here, now these are the rings, so they were not magnificent, but there were about 10 rings, which is about half 10 rings and one silver cross. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, there you go. And one silver cross here. So, quite a few little rings that actually shouldn't be in here in this one. So these were the silver rings I found. It's about 10 rings, which is half again what I got, less than half what I got last year. So that still wasn't bad. There's another silver ring there. So another Boy Scout slide. I got so many of those. And just for interest's sake, I enjoyed finding this Canadian quarter. You don't find many Canadian quarters down in Texas. Another one of my pride and joys was this brass commemorative Boy Scout. It has the Boy Scout oath on the back and all the characteristics that a Boy Scout is supposed to have. And when I looked on eBay and saw this was like $35, I said, heck, that's more valuable than most of the coins I find. So that is one of my pride and joy finds there as well. So those 3 pieces of silver last year, however, found were a huge increase from last year. And all of these pennies I have here, let me back this thing up so maybe you can see it better. I've got a bunch of pennies around here. All of these are wheat pennies, and I maybe got a couple of wheat pennies last year because but I finally went just a little bit south, closer to Central City. Then suddenly wheats began to appear, and this was a gift from a subscriber there. It's a King George the Sixth. I don't know. I can't recall the exact numeration of the currency. So I just wanted to show that. That's my little review of last year, and now I can get on with hopefully getting this year together and doing better this year than I did 2 years ago. But no matter what, the Suburban Detectorists, we dig what we find and we enjoy what we dig. I'll talk to you later, and you have a wonderful day.